Hello fellow YouTubers, this is Chris Masulo once again. I wanted to take you down on a tour of my man cave. So you say you have a man cave but you just don't know how to complete it, or it's missing something? Well, let me show you what I've added recently to my man cave. Here we have recycled an old arcade cabinet, and inside I've put a computer motherboard complete with a hard drive preloaded with over 2,000 games. A little nice diamond plate console there where two players can access it, and it's running on a computer. Here we see the game Frogger, so it's got all the arcade classics, and what inspired me to do this is I could not decide on what game I wanted. And buying a single game is very expensive and would grow tiresome, but this way you have an endless list of games because you can download more as you need it. You can rig it to accept coins, but this one is free play. As you see there, pressing the green button will give you an endless amount of plays. So it really depends on how much you want to play the game. So here we can see the game of Frogger, which is a classic Atari brought to the arcade. And we're almost in goal. There we go. Okay, I always have to see it complete. There's a 2,478 games to be exact, and you can cycle through it like a menu alphabetically. Some of my personal favorites are any of the Star Wars games, of course, and we have Double Dragon was another classic back in the day. Narc, who could forget Pac-Man? You can't have a game system without Pac-Man. That's a given, must have, to complete the arcade classics. So I'm sure if you wanted to keep another arcade machine from getting into the landfill, you can recycle or recover the cabinet, put the computer inside, research some of the software to install it, and you can have your very own arcade machine gracing your man cave someday. It's not an impossibility. There's my favorite, Double Dragon. I remember riding my bike to the bowling alley just to play this game, and how many quarters I dumped into this game just to make it to the end, and now I could beat the game in about an hour, although judging by my performance here, I know you don't get that impression as I'm getting myself kicked around the screen. It does have the roller ball feature, so you can play classics like Centipede with the trackball. Also some fine bowling games it supports. And to the right there, if you notice, it's got the wheel for steering games and also for classics like Tempest. It's a two-player model, but they have larger cabinets available for four-player machines as well. If you liked my arcade cabinet, you're going to love this. Here we have a virtual pinball machine, also running off of a computer inside. This is not a real pinball machine. This is totally virtual. Again, you could rig it up to accept coins. I have mine set up to just accept the touch of a button. You could cycle through a bunch of games. Here I have about 300 games or so. And it's really two screens that you're looking at here. And that's just some side art that we printed out on big decals and stuck on the side there. But that is a computer screen that you're looking at. It does look pretty realistic. It sounds realistic. You can really go hog wild with this. It has a tilt feature. You can add on the vibration of the ball rattling. I don't have that feature installed here yet, but you can add that on. But it's a really awesome machine, and again, I could not decide on which pinball machine to get, so I got them all. Here they are in virtual form. Another advantage of the virtual form is you don't have to worry about the maintenance of a pinball machine. Yes, an old-fashioned mechanical pinball machine requires maintenance of the play field. If the steel ball gets pitted or rusted, it could leave scratch marks. Any of the plastic parts inside, if they were to break, are very hard to come by. So we skip all that by going totally virtual, and there are a lot of hobbyists out there that are constantly making new games or fashioning software to mimic actual pinball machine games that you could download And again, you can have an endless supply of pinball games at your fingertips. Here's one of my favorites, Jaws. It's got a lot of sound effects from the movie, which makes it a fun play. I'm not very good at pinball, I must admit, but it is definitely a conversation piece, and whenever we have guests over, they can't resist jumping on this machine. Guns N' Roses, I remember, was another great play field back in the day that I used to dump tons of quarters. And again, here I can just play it endlessly. It's got all the sound effects, and it's really a ton of fun. Great tribute to the band too. Well, I hope you enjoyed my video on these two virtual machines, and maybe you'll get the initiative to build one of your own one day. Be sure to subscribe and ask any questions in the comments section. Thanks for watching.